Welcome back to Hitchin Farm. On our previous video, we covered the basics of forming a connection with your horse and using pressure and release through lateral flexion work to prepare your horse for long reining. I'll pop the link to the first video in the description. If you haven't seen that one already, it might be best to go and watch that one before you watch this one, so it makes sense. We're putting together this series of videos to help you understand how best to approach getting your horse ready for carriage driving and for draft work. As you may remember, we have 5 of our own youngsters that we're working with and also a few horses in for training, and we'll be filming these videos as we go along so you can see their progress in real time. So here are 4 of the boys that you'll see us working with. On the left is Strider, then Hades, Onyx, and then our gelding Spud, and we also have a blue roan filly called Blossom. After forming a basic connection with your horse and getting them to pay attention to what you want them to do, the next stage is to start to desensitise them so that they're prepared for when you want to put a harness on them.
Snuggles.
For this you'll need a small flag. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. This one is just a piece of old feed sack on a stick.
Right, so with the flag, the desensitisation is very important. It's the start of the conversation between you and the horse, and it allows the horse to realise that you're realising how that horse is feeling, which is really important. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this flag in until that horse shows some sort of anxiety. And I'm going to say it's about there because that's exactly where his eyes started freezing and going solid and not blinking. And when he's mentally present, when he relaxes, he'll start blinking, his eyes will start moving, his ears start moving, head lowers. So that's great. So again, take it away, allow him to have a moment just to sort of de-escalate a bit and relax. Give him a bit of fuss. And then we'll wait for him because there's no point going when his head's over there because you're going to sneak up on him with the flag and you don't want to do that. So we're going to wait till he's mentally present again. There we go. And then I'm going to bring the flag in and it's really measured, so there. And again, he blinks straight away, so that's an anxiety release. So there we go, release it again. And again, we just continue that until we can put that flag all over him. And he's never, as of yet, been touched by the flag. There we go, see his fixed, his eye is fixed. So even though he stood there, he's stressed about it, so we're just going to wait there for a minute until he gets real relaxed about it. And have a good look at it. That's ideal. Eyes started blinking again, lovely, there we go. And it's really important that it's very slow, methodical and steady so that they can process all of this. But what you'll find is they come in tomorrow even better again. Okay, I'm going to go in just, I'm about, you probably can't see, but I'm about 2.5–3 inches off his side. And you see his head's lowering down. He's more interested in my trousers, even though this eye is on that flag at all times. I'm just waiting for a really nice relaxed blink. There you go, that's lovely. I'll move away. So now I'm almost ready to touch that horse with the flag, so I'm just going to go in while he's mentally present and just touch him. There we go. And again, I'm going to hold that there until, see, he's a little bit fixed there, there you go. Eye blinks, lovely. And he's still a little bit anxious or unsure of it because you can see the ears are still locked in a certain position. Once they start moving, all the lights and everything comes on, that's more relaxed. Right, can we do it again? Right, let's touch it again. Blink of the eye straight away, so we'll take it away.
So if he was to move away from you with his anxiety, you're going to...
If you move away, it would mean that I basically pushed through somewhere where he wasn't comfortable with, so that would be my mistake. So I would almost back the flag off at that point. And you see, He's a little bit distracted today, so you're just going to be slightly careful because you don't want to sneak up on him when he's distracted like that, because we're really looking for mentally present, but being mentally present for any length of time is quite hard. That's an anxiety release. So now that he knows that session's a little bit over, you can relax a little bit more. There you go, a bit more licking and chewing.
All right, mate.
So this is Grace. She's in for a little bit of reschooling. Her owner felt that she was a little bit rushy in the carriage. And as you can see here, the flag work with her to start with was considerably slower than we just showed with Spud. But it's a game of patience. You have to wait until the horse is relaxed to the flag before it's taken away. And I know a lot of people will think this type of training for carriage driving is too slow, but the reason why this mare is having to take her time with the flag here is because she's been rushed through her previous training. And she's sort of got anxious and she's not really sure how to let go of that anxiety. So we're taking her back to square one to try and make her more comfortable, and we'll see how it affects her driving later on. Another important point about the flag work before we move on is that you also want your flag to cross your horse's dorsal line, so you're standing on one side but they're seeing the flag out of the other eye, which is preparing them for the harness going over the top and landing on the other side. And you slowly escalate your flag work until you can do things like this with your horse not being concerned. This is our 3-year-old filly Blossom. She's moved on from her flag work and desensitisation now, and she's having her harness on for about the 3rd time here. She's slightly more advanced than the boys because she did some clinic work with us in the summer. But as you can see here, she is not remotely bothered about having her harness on. And this is the important part of taking all of the stages into account. You want each step to be really, really small, so at no point does your horse become distressed about it.
It's like the world's most boring game of Buckaroo. It's not going to do anything.
So the harness we're using here is Amish harness. We prefer this particularly in training because it's a simple one piece to get on the horse's back. There's not too many buckles or much arranging to do once you've got it up there. Once your horse has got its harness on, it's important that they have a good shift around, a good run around with it on, so that they understand how it moves and all the noises that it makes. Particularly with the Amish harness, as it has chain traces, and these are quite noisy. We also like to give it a good pull at the front so that they feel the britching come into action, which is around their back end. Essentially, we want there to be no surprises when it comes to noises or feelings when we move on to anything else. Just in case we've left any stone unturned, we also do further desensitisation with them when they are wearing their harness. This is the first time Blossom has ever worn a bridle, and as you can see, she's getting used to the feel of the bit in her mouth. If you prefer to go bitless, the preparation is the same with the lateral flexion work for that. If you are intending to go bitless for driving, do be sure to check your insurance. Our insurance specifies that horses have to have bits in order to be able to work with our clients, which means that all of our horses are driven in bits. But later on in their training, they're also taught a series of voice commands so that we're not relying on the bit exclusively to tell them what we want. And here's another example. This is Onyx. He's Blossom's half-brother. As you can see, they look very similar. This is him having his harness on for the first time ever, but as you can see, he is also not too bothered. And this, lastly, is Strider. He is also Blossom and Onyx's half-brother. He was slightly more sensitive about his harness. His mother is a slightly more sensitive horse. And we found that a lot of their behaviours are generally linked more to the mother than they are to the stallion. We did obviously get his harness on in the end. He wasn't too bad. He was just a little bit more touchy. And so we were a little bit more patient with him and did it in a few more stages. And what we're paying attention to here is his eye and his ears to show when he is becoming stressed. As he's moved off, Mike's going to go back to the connection work to draw his attention back to him.
Such a natural athlete.
And then he can proceed with trying to put the harness on again. And there we go, all harnessed up. Our next video after this will cover bitting, mouthing up and long reining, and also probably pulling their first tyre. So do hit subscribe if you've enjoyed this video or you felt it was useful, and any questions or comments, please leave those below.